It was a Friday afternoon in calculus class, the kind of day when no one really cared about learning. Seventh period, spring break only hours away. You could feel the restlessness in the air, desks creaking as students tapped their pencils, heads resting on folded arms, eyes fixed on the clock. Our teacher, a laid-back man who never seemed to stress about anything, decided to ditch the lesson plan. Instead, he projected a brand logo quiz on the board from Sporkle. The classroom buzzed with laughter and casual competition. It felt like the start of freedom. I remember the exact moment everything shifted. One of my friends shouted the answer, "Adidas." Everyone chuckled. Then the loudspeaker crackled. The dean's voice tore through the room, panicked and raw. "This is not a drill. Lockdown. Now." Instantly, the atmosphere shattered. Goosebumps rippled down my arms. The air turned heavy. Our usually calm teacher jumped into action, shutting off the lights, herding us toward the back corner. We crouched together in suffocating silence, only the sound of our breathing filling the room. 2 minutes later, the low electrical buzz from the back panel shut off. The power was gone. My stomach dropped. That had never happened before. Then we heard it, screaming. A man's voice, unhinged and furious, echoing through the hallway. 2 girls in our class broke down crying. My chest tightened. I wanted to believe this was some elaborate drill, but the terror in those screams told me otherwise. The man's footsteps pounded closer. He began slamming his fists against lockers, shouting at the top of his lungs, "I'll kill all of you." The words froze me in place. My teacher silently motioned for us to stay down. But then the pounding shifted, from lockers to our classroom door. The door shook violently as the man hammered his fists against it. The girls' sobbing grew louder, until one screamed outright. The banging intensified. His voice, raw with rage, screamed, "Open up." It felt like forever. My heart slammed against my ribs with each blow against the door. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the noise moved away. His screams echoed down the hall until they vanished into silence. We sat frozen in that dark room, terrified to move. Minutes crawled by till the dean's voice finally returned. He explained a mentally unstable man had entered the building, attacked the front desk staff, and disappeared. No one knew if he was armed. We tried to go back to class, but hours later, the janitor made a discovery that ensured none of us would ever forget that day. The man had been hiding in a storage closet at the far end of the school. He was asleep, and sticking out of his pocket was the handle of a .44 Magnum revolver. By the time police arrived, he was gone. We never learned if he was caught. Some nights I wonder if he's still out there, and if he still remembers our school. My school had 2 lunch periods. The first was for 6th graders and some of the 7th. The second was for the remaining 7th graders and all of the 8th. The lockdown happened in early October. On a day so gray and rainy, it already felt unsettling. It began during the first lunch. I was standing in line when I heard 4 loud booms outside. At first I thought it was thunder, but within seconds the cafeteria erupted into chaos. Screams, the clattering of trays, kids pushing and shoving each other. Campus security rushed in, shouting for everyone to get inside the multi-purpose room. Kids who had just paid for food were forced to toss their lunches in the trash as staff herded us in like cattle. The multi-purpose room was huge. Its back wall was made entirely of glass windows. As soon as we were inside, Security scrambled to cover them with curtains. Teachers spread out at every exit, their faces pale, voices tight. My friend Eric slipped away to ask what was happening. When he returned, his face was drained of color. "There's a guy in one of the houses across from school," he whispered. "He barricaded himself inside. He's threatening to shoot himself and kill cops if they come for him. They said he was outside earlier just watching kids, staring." My stomach dropped. The image of some unstable man pacing outside the glass windows made my skin crawl. Then Eric added one more detail. "He's a registered sex offender." The room fell into a sickening silence. Dozens of kids sat wide-eyed, some crying, some whispering prayers under their breath. We were trapped in that room for over an hour. By the time we were finally escorted back to class, the whole school felt different. Colder, quieter. But the real horror came later. The man lived next door to my friend Brandy. She told me about something she'd seen on Halloween the year before. She said she passed by his house and noticed him standing at his window. He was cutting his own arm, pressing his blood against the glass to write a message. In crimson streaks, it read, "Don't come here or I'll kill you." Everyone thought it was just a twisted Halloween stunt. But after the lockdown, none of us laughed. We realized what we were dealing with. The man wasn't performing some sick holiday prank. He was serious, he was dangerous, and he was watching us.
I was 22, freshly graduated from college, working at my old high school as a computer intern. My office was in the basement, a cluttered place filled with servers, wires, and storage closets. But the office itself was a strange luxury. 3 big desks, a flat-screen TV, 2 mini fridges, and air conditioning, the kind of comfort the classrooms above didn't have. I was alone that day. My coworkers, Dave and Gary, were upstairs. I was halfway through my sandwich when my phone rang. It was the front office. Their voices were frantic. The school was on lockdown. Someone, possibly armed, was inside the building. The office didn't even have a real door, just an open frame. The basement door itself had no lock. All I could do was turn off the lights, silence my screen, and wait. Minutes dragged on. My phone buzzed with texts I sent to Dave and Gary, but they never answered. The silence in that basement was crushing. Then, the creak of the basement door shattered it. Footsteps echoed down the stairs, heavy, rushed. I scrambled under my desk, my chest tightening as the steps drew closer. Whoever it was entered the office but didn't turn on the lights. They just stood there, silent. And then, my phone betrayed me. Ding! A new text. The footsteps immediately moved toward me. My body froze. Then, a hand grabbed my arm. I screamed as a man's shadow pulled me from under the desk. In the dim glow, I saw him. A red plaid shirt, a dark cap, jeans. "It's okay," he whispered, almost too calm. "I'm hiding down here too. What's happening upstairs?" His words didn't match his eyes. Something was wrong. I asked who he was. He mumbled about picking up his son, about a teacher telling him to hide, but his tone was off, rehearsed. Then I glanced at my phone. The text was from Dave. "Dude, this is crazy. Some guy with a gun shot Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and a hat. Whatever you do, don't come upstairs." I froze, looked up. The man in front of me was staring. He knew I knew. Before he could move, I bolted for the stairs. The blast of a gunshot shook the basement. The bullet ricocheted off metal somewhere in the dark. By pure luck, it missed me. I crashed through the stairwell door into the blinding light above. Police swarmed the exits. The moment the man tried to escape, they took him down. Mr. Buckley survived his wound, but no one ever explained the shooter's grudge against into silence. That detail vanished into silence. All I know is this: the sound of that gunshot in the basement still echoes in my head. And sometimes, when the school is quiet, I swear I hear it again.